today I'm speaking with renowned artist Marie Antoinette Kelley and Karen Noé, who is a psychic medium and a spiritual counselor. Together, they have created the Angel Quest Oracle cards. And today we'll be talking about how you can have a regular connection with your angels and how you can get insights from the other side. So enjoy. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast for this week. We are in for quite the ride today. I have with me special guests Karen Noé and Marie Antoinette Kelley. Hello, ladies. How are you both?
Hey.
Hi.
Thanks
Really good.
for on.
Yay. Now, the two ladies that I have here with me today are the creators of the Angel Quest Oracle cards.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself is kind of giving you a little indication of what our conversation is going to be about today. Karen is a medium. Actually, you have like a 2-year wait list, don't you, for people to have sessions with you? And Marie Antoinette you have to check out her website, which is at makefineart.com. And so Marie Antoinette has done the illustrations and the paintings, everything for these cards. And Karen, I think, is behind the creating of the content of the cards. But they're absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning. So I think my first question is to you, Karen. We'll go into the cards in just a moment, but I think the purpose, the behind the pack, is to help us to connect more with our angels and to those divine beings and our, spirit guides. Is that correct?
Exactly. The most important thing to realize is that we all have angels. We all have guardian angels. There are archangels that could be with more than one person at a time. And I have a center in Waldwick, New Jersey, where we teach classes. I travel the world and teach classes about this. And the most important thing, I'm a psychic medium, and yes, I'm booked, but that's not the point. You can do this too. Everyone listening can connect with their angels, and it's very exciting. And one of the best ways to do that is to use an angel oracle deck. And that's why we created the Angel Quest Oracle deck. So all you need to do is ask the angels what you need to know, shuffle the deck. I explained it all in the booklet that comes with it, but all you need to know is put your energy on the card, each and every card, then ask the angels, stand the cards over your heart chakra and over your third eye and say, what do I need to know? Shuffle the deck, and boom, the answer is right on the deck.
Wow.
Right there. So everyone can do this. That's the purpose of this deck.
So I'm assuming for each card, there's a different angel that is represented on each card. Is that correct? Yep.
Yes.
And do they all have different, specialties? What would you call that?
Yeah, they do. There are archangels that have specialties, as well as sometimes we just say the angel of patience or something like that will explain, what you need to know today.
Right.
So it's really cool. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose by doing this. It's so much fun, and you'll see how right on the cards are. The other day I was teaching a class on how to do this, how to connect with the angels. And we dedicated a lot of the time on how to raise your vibration. So it's more on par with the energy of the angels, which is a high vibrating, loving, positive energy. Mm-hmm. And we spent a lot of time doing this. So then I took the angel deck and I said, angels, what does this class need to know? Shuffle the deck, and raising your vibration came flying out of the deck. It literally just flew out of the deck. So it's really cool how the angels love to play with us.
Yeah. No, I love that, because, I do I teach something similar about, if we want to be coherent with the unified field or more connected to that unified field, then we need to be at the same frequency and the same resonance. And the way that we do that is getting into our more positive and higher frequency emotions to be able to do that. So that makes perfect sense to me. Marie Antoinette, how did you get the inspiration, or how did you know how to, illustrate each of the different angels that are in the deck?
Oh, thanks for that question. Well, Karen and I operate very similarly in life. We draw our inspiration from the other side. And in this case, with the angels, I struggled with the concept of who is this angel? How do I get to know them? How do I capture them exactly as they are? And I had to work through that and realizing that there is no exact way to decide how an angel looks, because we all have our personal connection to the angels and they take shape as they appear to you or work with you. So what we did actually is we focused not so much on the angels look, even though there are angels in the deck that I have given a look specifically, looking like the diverse people that we find on this planet, but qualities that they represent. So a lot of the cards, probably about half of them, you'll see represent qualities such as patience, as Karen mentioned, or courage, or things that are more of an archetypal nature. And then the angel will have a message behind that, helping you actualize that quality in your life so that you yourself can have the relationship with the angel and give them a face or a shape as you feel is appropriate from your heart.
Yeah, I love that. And so is that how you derive a lot of inspiration for a lot of the artwork that you do?
Well, yeah, it's actually, each card has a little bit of a story, but as I did these qualities or the angels, I tried to get really into it. And most of the time when a message was happening, for example, the confidence card, that was a time right in the middle of the creation of the deck, my own confidence was flagging. And I was like, how do I do this? You know, just the writer's block or artist block, I guess. And Karen just took the message. She went right to her angels and she said, let's get a message for the both of us. And she drew down a message for about confidence, and it hit home so perfectly. It was like they were talking to me directly. And then immediately I was like, I'm going to paint the angel this way because that's how it feels. And so that became the card in the deck that very much lived that story, because we ourselves drew confidence from it. And now I feel that that has become a bit alive. And then the person that's actually working with the cards can now feel that same energy and be inspired the same way we were. So we were actually the first recipients, I suppose, of the blessings of that deck.
Love that. So Karen, when have you, so how long have you been able to commune with the angels? Has this been a lifelong thing or something just that came in later in life?
Very long story. I always was psychic. My father used to take me to the racetrack when I was younger. Now I'm an animal activist. I don't go to the track, but I picked the winning horse. They say I was lucky. And so forth. But about 25 years ago, I was going through a difficult time in my life. And at that time, I just sat at the edge of my bed and I yelled at God and the angels. And I said, am I going to be all right? And with that, I saw a light that came towards me from the other side of the room. And as it was coming towards me, I said, if you're not of God, please leave. Now, 25 years later, I know we're all of God. Everything's God. We're all connected. But at that time, I said, if you're not of God, please leave. But the more I said it, the more it came towards me and eventually enveloped me. And at that time, I heard an audible voice that said, Lucia, Lucina, Bella, Lucia, Lucina. I don't know if there are any Italians out there, but it means light, little light, beautiful little light. I've since learned that was St. Francis of Assisi, who was guiding and protecting me. It's a long story. Mm-hmm. But if you've read any of my books or follow me on Facebook, you'll see that connection with my connection with the animals, with peace and love. But right after that experience, I started experiencing the angels and deceased loved ones. And I didn't want people to think I was not in my right mind. So I didn't want to share it at first. But the more I did, the more it meant so much to the people I was sharing it with. And the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, I noticed on your website that you even, did a session with Wayne Dyer's family after
Correct.
he transitioned to the other side.
We're very close. Right after he passed, reluctantly, and I was saying to myself, I'm so insignificant. I got to get. As soon as I started to hear that, I heard him for the first time, and he said, get out of your own way. But he said it this way, get out of your own way, like that. And synchronistic events brought his family to me very quickly. I was ready to speak at an I Can Do It event for my publisher. I was going to be speaking in Orlando, Florida, about life after death. And they were also going to have a tribute to Dr. Dyer there. So we have the author bus from the hotel, the author bus, as well as the family of Wayne Dyer sitting on the bus. I'm sitting on the bus. There's one seat available, happens to be next to me, and in walks Serena Dyer. So that's Wayne Dyer's daughter. The rest is history. It just brought them all to me and everything.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so, Marie Antoinette, you also have a communication with angels. This is something you've been doing for a while.
Yeah, I have actually. I was also reluctant, like Karen, because it's something that is something your rational mind really can't get to. So you have to kind of trust your way into it. And at first, as a child, I was mostly unaware of how to handle any of it. And then as a grown up, it started to become really helpful in my artwork, especially as I was doing paintings or portraits of people who had passed away. And I would pick up things from them, either of an emotional nature or just something of a comfort message, and able to communicate that with people. But again, I didn't do much with it because, as Karen mentioned, it's mostly things that come to you and you don't seem to be in control of it. Like you could say, okay, I'm going to go out and make that happen.
Right.
So I just kept it to myself and let it happen as it works. So it's been a real blessing for me to work with Karen, who is doing that full time for a living, to kind of give me the confidence and the encouragement to let that be a very normal part of who I am and the artwork, and then see the blessings of that go out into the world. Yeah. So it's been really nice.
I love that. So Karen, in addition to the Oracle deck, how do we have that connection with our angels? Because I'm often being told, like, you can just ask them for help. And I'm like, absolutely. Okay, but do I just ask? Like, how does that work?
Absolutely. You just ask. That's it. You say, angels, come to, be with me now. And there's a difference between the different types of angels. It's just a technicality. We all have guardian angels that are only our angels. So my guardian angel wouldn't be yours. There are archangels that could be with more than one person at a time. There are ascended masters, those who've been here before on the planet and ascended to a higher vibration. But we all can connect with them. The easiest way is to ask them to give us signs, to let us know that they're with us. And I would say, just ask your angel, give me a sign to let me know you're with me. And I call them without a doubt signs. It's something that normally wouldn't happen, such as a bird lands on you, or a bird, a ladybug, a dragonfly, a butterfly, they peck at the window, or you're driving and a car cuts you off and the license plate is your loved one's name or an angel's name. You'll smell a fragrance in the smell flowers in the middle of nowhere. So they're giving us signs all the time, but we have to pay attention. So we ask for a sign, we ask them to give us messages, and they come to us telepathically. We're expecting to hear an audible voice or to see an apparition of our loved ones, or the angels, but they're spirit. They speak to us telepathically. So we have to notice the thoughts that pop in our head for no reason. They speak to us as thoughts. So yes, ask your angels. Let me know you're with me. And then it's important to be patient and wait. And the sign will come when you least expect it. Right. I promise.
Well, I'm assuming the signs are really good for helping us to build our belief and the proof, like build the proof that, yes, this is happening.
Absolutely.
And I'm assuming that the way that they communicate with us can be different. For me, mine always comes in as a thought. Like it's not like it, because everyone's like, is it your thought? I go, there's no voice to it. It's just a thought, right?
Exactly.
But then I have other people, right? And then I have other people who they feel it in their body. They'll have like a physical response. How does it normally come to you, Marie Antoinette? How do you commune with angels?
Well, like in the same ways that Karen has mentioned already, but I think what I was up against and that I noticed other people are up against a lot is I myself have a background as a scientist, so you want to question everything until you have the proof. And so I would get a lot of messages or a lot of intuitive knowledge, even through songs. They use music a lot for me. And I would I talk myself out of it. Oh, that was in my subconscious. I must have heard it somewhere here or there. Until one day I actually ended up waking up in the morning and a song was singing. It was a male voice, I remember to this day. It was a 4-part. And there was no other music but that male voice. And he was singing a song, and I am not musical. I'm artistic, but not musical. Beautiful words and everything. And it was very moving. And I woke up and was like, I could not make that up. And that was enough for my subconscious because I don't know the song. So I immediately went on YouTube and I found the song. And it was called Snow is on the Roses from 1963, Sonny James. And I never heard of the man before. And little treasure hunt, 5 days later, I found out that this was the husband of somebody who had passed away, who I had drawn 2 weeks before, and he used my brain to sing this love message to his wife. And I realized if that song had been something in my subconscious that I had known, I would have dismissed it. But it's because I couldn't rationalize it. I couldn't say, I know that already of some level, that I had to stop and pay attention. And I think all of us hear things all the time because we're all connected. We all have a spiritual nature underneath our human or physical nature. The enemy, I think, is to rationalize what you receive.
Right.
Right.
And if you stop doing that, you will find yourself more in the flow than you thought was possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing. I mean, we can probably scientifically explain a lot of these different things.
Yes.
You know, I am also too, I mean, I work with Dr. Joe Dispenza, so I'm like deep down the science rabbit hole. But I also do believe that we, you know, like some of the insights and the ideas and the things that I get, I know they're not me. I know they are outside of me.
Right.
And so if I choose to believe and to see that as my guides, or, you know, actually I've had a couple of healings, you know, in recent times, and my biological mother's mother keeps coming through, my grandmother, which I don't remember because my mother left when I was 3. But she's been on my team since she transitioned, you know, so she keeps coming through and letting me know, like, you know, this, I'm like, wow, okay, this is so cool. And the thing is, she, in her message, keeps saying, if you need help, just ask. So it sounds like it's just as easy as sitting down, making the quiet space to actually ask the question and ask for help.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter what we believe. If we believe in angels, then great. You know, that just brings more joy and magic to life.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose if you call upon the angels to help you.
Yeah. So let's also, like, it's not just our angels, but it is, like I was saying, my maternal grandmother comes through as well. So we also have other people in our team on the other side as well, right?
Yes, deceased loved ones, absolutely.
Yeah.
They come through in the same personality as they had when they were here. So if somebody was quiet, when they come through, they're very quiet. If somebody was funny, they come through in that way, or if they're loud and so forth.
Right. I love that. And again, it's the same principle applies. All we have to do is ask for you know, guidance, and that will be able to come through. Is there anything that we can do to really encourage or enhance that? Like, should we be in meditation? Should we create quiet space? Like, what is it the best way that we can do that?
There's so many ways, things that we can do. The most important is to raise our vibration so it's more on par with their energy, because their energy's up here, our deceased loved one's energy's here, and we're here. And if we're grieving, we're way down here. So we have to think of ways, you know, there are ways, compassion, forgiveness, and all sorts of things that we could do to raise our vibration. But one of the things I would recommend highly is meditating. As, you know, as Edgar Cayce would say, you know, praying is talking to God and the angels, but meditating is listening. And in any relationship, you need to listen as well as to speak. So it's not during the meditation that you're going to receive the messages. I get up at 4:45 every morning. I'm not telling people to do that. I get up that early because
Thank you.
That's my time. I'm a morning person. I'm not telling anyone. But I do that with the intention of connecting later on in the day. So I don't want to hear from, I mean, if they come, I feel them, and it's a magnificent feeling, but the messages come later on in the day. So I'm tapping into their energy. It's like putting gas in the car so that you could drive throughout the day, right? It's the same thing. So you're connecting to source, you're connecting to your angels and deceased loved ones, the quiet, because if your thoughts are going a mile a minute, you won't be able to hear them. And a main way they speak to us, like you, they come to us as thoughts.
I know my process is that as I'm waking up in the morning, my brain's kicking in, but my eyes are still closed. And, you know, that's when we're naturally in theta. So our brain waves are very coherent with the field, you know, using science talk. And, you know, I'll always ask a question then, but I find that the answer comes through pretty quickly for me. Because I'm used to doing this. This is something that I do all the time. And I trust what comes through, because there's been too many times where an answer's come through. And I'm like, for example, when I had my inspiration show, and I think, Karen, you were a guest on the inspiration show.
I was on your last show.
Right. There you go. Right. Yeah. You know, and I was asking the question, what am I going to call this? Because I had the idea to do the video show, and it kept saying the inspiration show. And I'm like, I'm not going to get that URL. Go away. Come back with something else, you know. But it kept coming through, and like, oh man. So I got out of bed, and the inspirationshow.com and the inspirationshow.tv were both available. I'm like, Okay.
Wow.
Not
That's
dirty you
awesome.
anymore. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
yeah. So
I
what's
know
your
that thought
process?
also.
What's your process,
Yeah.
Marie Antoinette? Yeah.
I was going to add, because Karen and I are actually brainstorming right now about a process to get people more connected in that conversation with the other side. And one thing that I feel I can contribute is artwork, because as people learn to let go and work with colors, you naturally tap into your right brain. Whereas we talked earlier about the analytical side that pushes these answers away, that's your left brain. And the right brain is the holistic side of you that is intuitive, that gets the connections before you understand how you got there. And that strengthening that will help you in your communication. So we're actually exploring some ideas for workshops to get people's hands in the paints and the colors and strengthen your right brain to bring your intuition be more part of your everyday.
Yeah.
So that's something we're working on.
And that's something also that really, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was, as you were answering that perfectly, I wanted to pick a card for you, Natalie. It's a life purpose about what you're doing now. So you're on the right track. Do you have the deck? It's Archangel Uriel is helping you to find meaning in life, and you're doing it well. So I just wanted to say,
yeah,
I'm throwing that out to you.
So I have a social emotional learning curriculum for schools, which is my big project right now. And there's a lot of movement happening, but, you know, I have moments where I'm like, oh, this is too hard. Why did I choose it? And I didn't really choose it. It was given to me. And I've tried to walk away a couple of times, but nope, that's not happening. And then I'll have something like a card drawn, or I'll have, you know, serendipitous things show up. I'm like, okay, this is where I'm meant to be.
Angels are hitting you over the head.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Keep going. It'll be okay. I love that. So where can everyone get their hands on the Oracle deck? Like, where can we find those?
You can find them on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, on the Beyond Words website, on my website, which is KarenNoé.com, KarenNoe.com. But it takes longer if you go to my website, because then I have to go to the post office. So if they want it quickly, Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com.
Right. Now, also, you were talking about doing classes where you're helping people to tap into this ability that we all have. Do you do those virtually, or are they in person? How do you do those classes?
Oh, there are some in person at my center, and I'll be doing an angel card one in March. I don't know when this is going to air.
Yeah.
So virtually. And I'm also teaching at the Omega Institute 2 times this year about this type of thing. So people could go to my website and you'll see all the classes that I'm teaching.
Wonderful. I love that. So Marie Antoinette, so can your website was
MAK Fine Art. Yeah, it's MAK for my initials.
Okay.
Fine Art. Yes.
MAK Fine Art. And so how do you work with people? Do you do classes as well, or how do you use your art to really create a transformation?
I haven't gotten to that. This is why we're talking about brainstorming. I did it with my kids and their friends in some years back. Lately, it's been mostly producing artwork, but I have a strong passion for getting people connect with themselves, because the more I understand what's happening to me, the more I want other people to understand how that flow happens for them. And Karen is very good at that already. So that's in the future. I work with people privately here, but nothing in workshop form yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Right.
But we're putting words to it right now.
There you go.
And it actually is interesting that we're having this conversation on a day like today, because the day that this podcast is being recorded, we got the news that Bob Proctor, who is a legend in our space, passed away last night.
Oh, no. I didn't know that. Oh, my God.
So it's been, I got the news this morning, and he's like the godfather.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I am unaware of who Bob Proctor is. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Europe, so hopefully that's my excuse. Could you explain?
Yeah, so Bob, if you ever saw The Secret, Bob was heavily, he was the main teacher. He's the older gentleman with the silver hair. And
powerhouse. And I'm sure he's still a powerhouse. Right?
Oh yeah. And they even, like, with Procter Gallagher, the company, they're making sure that his message and his energy is still, will be living well beyond him. And but it's been an interesting day, because it's, my Facebook feed is just he touched so many lives and was such a legend. But
and it's all about creating the life you want.
Yes.
Isn't that what it's about? So here we are discussing the life we want to live. That is definitely his influence. And on a day where he passed. Yeah. I always feel those days, and I don't want to take this out of context, but for me, I always have a slip of the tongue where I call deaths and funerals weddings. I always feel they're celebrations, and I've had this my whole life. And if a person has lived a full life, and it sounds like Bob Proctor touched so many and lived a full life, then it is a celebration to lift off and
he went home.
He leave your treasures. Go share.
That's the thing. I mean, there are so many near-death experiences and accounts from people who have been to the other side and come back that you just go,
yes.
I mean, my belief is that we become one with everything. We become back to the consciousness. We go home.
Yes. It's our loss, his gain.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, ladies, thank you so much for your time today. It's such a fantastic conversation, and I encourage you to to seek out the deck. Make sure that you're looking for the Angel Quest Oracle cards. There you can get them, like we saw on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Yep, that's what they look like, even to just give you, because we always have those moments where we're stuck with a decision, or we're not quite sure what direction to take, especially if we're working on our purpose and we're working towards a big goal. There's always those times where you're like, I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? How am I here? Yes. And using the Oracle cards will really help you get through those moments. So thank you both, ladies, for all the work that you do. It's such a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, it was a nice, wonderful conversation.